Hello, it's Flossie from the Grape Jelly Library, where we love to talk about books. I am so glad you could join me. I always look forward to your visit. Today, 8 tips on how to get yourself out of your reading slump. TableTopics. What's your favorite part of Thanksgiving dinner? Mashed potatoes and biscuits first. Secondly, pumpkin pie with Cool Whip and a coffee. Comment below. Let me know what is your favorite part of Thanksgiving dinner. I love when you comment and share your experiences with me or your favorites with me. When you actually take the time to respond to these, I get to learn a little bit more about you. All right, now let's get into these 8 helpful tips that I believe can help any reader get out of their reading slump and help them breathe new life into their reading experience. Number 1, set your stage. Create an atmosphere that's conducive to reading. You don't always have to read in the same spot every day. For instance, I am not exactly comfortable going to a cafe or a bookstore and reading by myself. But with my own journey of personal growth, I did. I went to the bookstore today and I pulled up a chair at a cafe table and I ordered myself a drink, and I made sure to pick myself a seat by the window so that I can still enjoy the outdoors at the same time. And I set up an environment that was pleasing to me. And I got some good quality reading in there. And you know what? I walked away from that experience proud of myself because I did something that I don't normally do. And will I do it again? Yes, I could definitely see myself there on a beautiful, warm day when I have nothing better to do than just enjoy the day and sit there and read. But if that's not your thing, then maybe a park bench with a lap blanket on a crisp autumn day, watching the leaves dancing around, billowing in the wind. Maybe you like to do what I also like to do. On my way to work, I sometimes pull over into this recreational area and I read for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes before I head into work. Maybe you can sit in an enclosed porch or on your balcony or in your yard with the warm sun beating down on your face. It could be something as simple as going to your local library, pulling up a chair and enjoying the hushed tones in the background while you take in the wonderful aroma of books that surround you. Whatever it is, however you want to create your stage, create it in a conducive manner that will give you the extra oomph to want to dive back into those books. Sometimes the smallest change can make the biggest difference. Number 2, change up your genre. If you are typically a romance reader, a sci-fi reader, a historical fiction reader, the way to personal growth is to change your genre up. This is how we move forward as individuals. And you know what? I'm sure you heard the saying, variety is the spice of life. So I absolutely agree with that. Why not keep your books spicy? Have a romance. Step outside your box. Have a sci-fi. I had to, backtrack there because I am not a sci-fi lover, but I will read it. I will absolutely go down that road. I find that if I keep my genres varied, then it's more likely that I'm going to stay on track and pick up my next book. I think when you change your genre up, that's where you're going to find style, variety, ambition, incentive. I don't think you could really go wrong if you're bouncing around, like a ping pong ball into different genres. It keeps it interesting, it keeps it fresh, it keeps it new. Number 3, adapt a new way of how you read your books. By this, I mean there are so many cool office supplies out there to help you enjoy your reading experience. Now, if you're like me and you're not a book annotator, but you're willing to give it a go, then there are a ton of different styled Post-it notes out there. From your antiquated, old style versions that are just open, or your lined ones. They have wonderful transparent ones in all shapes and sizes. We have squares, rectangles, circles, you name it. I have even seen transparent Post-it notes, or sticky notes, I should say, that actually are the length of a sentence and just as thin. If you didn't want to highlight that sentence, you can just put this sticky note over the sentence, and you brought no harm to your book whatsoever. But you know what? Sometimes it could be fun just to get out that retractable pen and just write in the margins. Just go for it. Don't worry about any of your inhibitions holding you back. Just try it. Sometimes we need to bring out the mischievous part of us. We need to have a little bit of fun, and we need to do a little bit of things that we don't usually do. Now, I have tried this, and I am not big on writing in the margins, but I am big on throwing down them Post-it notes and doing my thing. A lot of the times, though, I will not annotate my book, most times, because I feel like for me that takes away from my reading experience. It kind of takes it from being an enjoyable journey and turns it into kind of like an academic lesson, and I'm not necessarily looking for that experience. But it certainly is fun to do every once in a while, and it certainly does do the trick in bringing you a new book experience and getting you out of that gully. Number 4, curate a small TBR. I'm talking 3 to 5 books only, and make sure that these books are novellas or just very small novels. We're not trying to hustle with our books when we're in that slump. We are trying to get out of that slump. And sometimes when we read the smaller books, and we see ourselves making progress with each book that we're coming out of, we become more proud of ourselves, and we're kind of like, you know what? Look at me go. I am not denying that I am stuck. But because I'm choosing smaller books, I am reading more books, and I'm becoming more and more proud of myself. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing until I'm, at a place in my mind where I'm, back into the groove, like Ace Frehley would say, back into the New York groove. But anyways, all jokes aside. Number 5, surround yourself with people who love book talk. If you're an introvert, extrovert like myself, Sometimes I need to step outside of myself and I need to go on a hunt for people who are doing good for themselves. People who do good for themselves make other people want to do good things for themselves. So if I surround myself with people who seem to be moving along, you know what? It kind of gives me the willpower to want that for myself. These people have to be people that you adore, or people that you see certain characteristics in that, you just love and you would like to adopt them for yourself. Those kind of people. You know what? You don't always have to take the lead. Sometimes it's a wonderful thing to let somebody else do the driving. There's no shame in letting others show you the way. Which brings me to tip number 6. Sometimes all we really need to do is seek out a friend and ask them to do a buddy read with us. Sometimes knowing that somebody else is doing the same exact thing that we are doing and helping us to get through this unknowingly is a tremendous help to get us out of our slumps. Number 7, try a different type of book experience. What I mean by that is, if your go-to is typically a physical book, maybe try an Audible version. And I know there's a lot of you out there who just cannot do an Audible version, and that is fine. The important thing is that we search for things to help bring us back to our love of reading. So maybe an ebook is for you. There are a lot of affordable options out there, and you can even find even cheaper ones. I don't like that word cheaper. I'm going to say discounted ones on your marketplace, or maybe, at a local discount retailer, or maybe perhaps a friend of a friend who's getting rid of one. My point is, there are a lot of different ways to obtain affordable e-readers, and they definitely bring a new experience to your reading journey. I myself was against e-readers for the longest time. I'm a reader in the tub, and I didn't trust that I wouldn't drop it. I'm a reader in the swimming pool. I'm a reader in the summer sunshine, and I just thought that summer sun would put a glare on my reading experience, and it wouldn't be as enjoyable. Plus, I do love a physical copy of a book. I have since acquired a few e-readers, and although I don't typically run to them all the time, when I find myself in a slump, I find that it's a nice change in pace, and it usually does the trick for me. And my last tip number 8, is no pressure. Do not set yourself up for failure when you are in a slump. There is no rules saying that you have to read a certain amount of books in a certain amount of time at a certain pace. We have enough things in life that we are told to do, that we need to do, places that we need to be. The last thing we need to do is implement more rules and structure in our own lives, especially when it comes to an enjoyable hobby such as reading. Why do we want to go and put all this burden on our shoulders when it comes to something that we really should be enjoying? Now, it is wonderful to challenge yourself in your reading journey. I have several challenges that I am participating in now, but I'm not talking about that kind of, challenge or structural limitations. I am talking about when we are down and out. We do not need to, put ourselves even further into this. We actually need to start lightening the load and forgiving ourselves and just just going with the flow. No holds barred. You do you. You do what you got to do. The important thing is your focus on getting back to your love of reading. If you have any tips below that you would like to share with me when I have my moments of gloom and doom when it comes to reading, I would love to know. Comment below and let me know. Until my next video, know that I love you. Be well, be good, and be reading.